December. Tumbled out of a storm cloud, passing over the island on its way to Los Angeles. It had to have broken a few bones when it hit the deck, and it woke me. But I didn't crawl out from under the blankets to investigate. I was hoping maybe I dreamed it. But there it was early the next morning, cold and wet, and pounding on the aft hatch, hungry, and telling me how it liked its eggs. It made itself comfortable with no sign of moving on. I've been looking over my shoulder for 2 weeks and hiding the silverware now that December has made its descent. Tonight is no exception. I almost had this thing turned around. I was almost there. Traps baited and well placed from the face of Ribbon Rock all the way to the West End. After a week of downtime, waiting for an alternator, after a week of flat and glassy water, and watching other boats pull in each night fully loaded, and watching Melissa be everywhere but here. A few good days of fishing was all I needed on the lee side of bad weather. But then December and this storm. December. It is the bully of all months, the disciple of the 12 to betray the good intentions of the calendar. It does not roll off the tongue like April or May. It scrapes the roof of the mouth to speak its name. Its voice is brittle and its words are harsh, and it berates my every move. You're gonna lose her, you know. Go back while you still can. I'll make it easy for you. She'll understand. When I answer, you don't know who you're up against. It says nothing, but sucks a degree or two out of the air when my back is turned. My name is Aaron. I don't even know what I look like anymore, in case you're curious. I've got other priorities, but I'd like to think that I'm at least half as handsome as Melissa is pretty. She tells her friend she's married to John Lennon. I'm a head taller than she is, and we're both a little too slim. Her hair is long and dark and straight. Mine is a bit more complicated, and I'm probably overdue for a haircut. I might consent to that the next time we pull around to Avalon to hit the laundromat, but the beard is here to stay. When Neil Young sings, 24 and there's so much more, we both know what he's talking about. I hope that helps. I'd gone topside and groped my way forward to check the mooring for chafing and drift. Darkness had come by 7 o'clock and just got meaner, more serious with each passing moment. The anchor light, normally small and dim atop the masthead, was fast asleep, and I was not about to withdraw anything from the battery to feed it. The gray marine engine takes a big gulp to get itself started, and we needed to be out and working as soon as the weather breaks. One of the other lobster boats gave us a jump last week. It felt like a welfare check or charity. And Melissa? I took a glance south of Cat Head and seaward. Nasty stuff. The night so wet and slippery, most of the stars had lost their grip and slid off into the blackened sea, never to be seen again after the brief sizzle as they lost their fire. Even the moon would have nothing to do with this storm and had gone off to some bar to wait it out, leaving a bullet hole in the sky that gushed wind and blackness and blood. I did my work by the blink of lightning, and when I was done, I worked my way aft. I looked through the porthole to the side of the cabin's door. Melissa had just lit the alcohol stove. I rapped twice on the wood frame before I made my move to let her brace herself. I came below as deftly as I could, and I shrugged off my pea coat. I eased it into the third and top step of the companionway, thinking it might drip itself dry if it had nothing better to do. I dusted excess moisture from my watch cap before setting it on the mahogany chart table. Melissa pumped a few spurts of water into the kettle and set it on the stove, flattening the blue flame. I slipped my finger into the loop of her jeans where there should have been a belt coiled around her, and I pulled her to me. The jeans were loose. It had not always been so. I did that to her. I was contagious with rain and made slick her only dry shirt. I should have known better, but I selfishly wanted that reassurance a man gets when woman parts are firmly up against him, especially a woman he loves. She backed away and put her hand to her breast, then looked at disbelief at her fingers, and then at me. She was moist with colorless blood, evidence she'd been wounded. She said nothing, wiped her hands on her jeans. I have punctured her breast, and now there is nothing to do but gamble for her clothes. I knelt before her, as I did every night of rain, hoping to be knighted. Arise, Sir Aaron. But she never said those words. Instead, while I supplicated, she tucked my armor of wool over my shoulders and bunched it into the small sink, keeping it at arm's length. Faded wool, this sweater of mine, and swollen tight with water. I believe in its youth, maybe even as late as last summer. It was peach-colored. It's the color of oatmeal now, which is to say, no color at all. I took a deep breath. I smelled of the wet wood of a dead fire extinguished and tasting of steam and of smoke and of dead abalone that baits the traps, not quite what I meant to offer her. Even in the dim light, I could see the damage I had done, and I wished I had shown a little restraint. Is my need for you that ugly? And now I was fumbling. I stood and drew aside the hair fallen upon her forehead, making a little room for myself, compounding my felonies. A kiss to set things right. But as my fingers grazed her skin, she surged back. That's cold! And oh my God, the night is still so young. Sorry. Cold. I slipped my hand through the buttons of my flannel shirt over my breast. My heart pounded violently, like storm surf on a wash rock. Yes, of course she would pull back. That is cold. I am vindicated. It is not I who have done this to her. It is the cold. It is not I who have done this to her. I sat at the table, fisting and opening my hands to pump some blood into them and get them back on board. 8 o'clock was approaching, and I needed them dressed and sober. I tested my fingers, drumming them a bit on the side of the radio, bolted squarely to the table where it joined the hull. And as I turned it on, its red light glowed like the beacon light of a jetty somewhere on that mahogany shore. But for a burning candle and the low blue flame of the alcohol, it was the only illumination within the cabin. That, and the constant halo that blinds me whenever Melissa looks my way. Jesus, she says, I'm not an angel, as she preens the feathers of her wings. That book I hope to publish this summer, called Almost Avalon. I'll announce it to the press when that happens.
Is it a book or just a short story? Or?
No, it's a full book. It's a full book. What's great, I wrote that when I was, I wrote that in Europe actually, when I was in my 20s. It was based on this couple that I met that came out to, I was an abalone diver. For the purposes of the story, I make the character a lobster fisherman because it's really difficult to get dialogue underwater. All comes out, but I can actually have them say things if they're on a boat pulling lobster. But this couple, gorgeous. This guy was an Adonis. He had the blonde hair, the perfect build. She was the feminine equivalent, and their relationship was disaster. Only he was not conscious of it. So one afternoon, he came back into the mainland, and over the course of an afternoon, this woman told me what was really going on. They had another boat. He and a friend had another boat. Every time they'd gone in, they pulled a little something more out of the boat, pulled out the compass, pulled out the bilge pump, pulled out anything of value, and the plan was this heavily insured boat was going to go down, and then they were going to collect the insurance money. So with that as a foundation for the story, I was able to extract these two characters. Aaron is completely unconscious that his relationship is disintegrated. All he knows is that the fishing is bad. So anyway, that's the foundation of the story, and you have to wait to see what happens when the book comes out. So listen, thank you all so much for coming. Please help us recruit more kids for our program.